The next thing I'd like to show you is how to find and attach database information. So info that doesn't have any geospatial coordinates, but it does have attribute data which we can line up. I'd also like to show you just some basic map cleanup. So again, this is very simple, but we'll just be creating a very basic theme-based map in this video. So to get started from the website, unless you're picking up right where we left off, you can download that from this link. And as before, depending on your browser, I'm using Chrome, but you should be able to show that in the Finder. I have it downloaded twice here. Right click and you can either do an extract all, or if you have 7-zip, you can open archive, and you may see something like this. So from here, I can copy this by right clicking and copy to and selecting my desktop. And I'm actually going to cancel out of this because, depending on how you've got this set up, it could be a little bit easier just to double click on the zipped file and then drag that folder to your desktop. Now it's the same name as before, so if you've still got that folder, you'll be prompted if you want to add or merge or replace. I keep my desktop pretty clean, so right now that is the only thing on my desktop. Let's close this and take a little inventory of the files. So there we go. Same files as before, and in this package there's a MXD file. Go ahead and open that up. So here's where we left off, and I made the copy and changed the colors just to show you that it could be done, but the first thing we'll actually do is just get rid of that second data frame by right clicking and select remove. We'll take a look at this top one here. Now if you do an inventory, just a visual inventory, whoops, wrong one, of the attribute table, there's a couple things worth pointing out that you'll see with any data from national sources. So you'll all see an FID, which is some kind of identification number, the type of shape, these are all polygons, area, perimeter, and there's usually a scale applied to these because obviously that's probably thousands of miles. Some other identifying characteristics, but every now and then you'll see FIPS. This is state_FIPS, and the FIPS stands for Federal Information Processing Standard. And it's just that, it's a standard to match data up to other data. Now typically you don't want to match data to a state level. More often than not, especially from the National Atlas website, you will want to match it to a county based shapefile. But just for example, I'll use the state one, and the database file that I will match to it will be census data. So I'm at nationalatlas.gov. Let me just back up to show you how to get here. So from the top level of the website, click on Mapping Professionals, Raw Data, and then People, and I'll take a look at the Census 2000 data. So here I can see that it's a DBF, database format, or database file. Down here, I will show in folder. Now this is a .gz, which is a different compression format. If you get a file like that, I believe you have to have something like 7-zip. So since I do have 7-zip, I can right click, go to 7-zip, open archive, and it's still in a tar package, so I have to right click, open, and here are the two files. Now if I right click, I can't copy. I don't have the option to copy where I could just paste it, but I do have copy to, so I'll select that one, navigate to that folder on my desktop, JS data, and I'll make a new folder called Census 2000. Hit OK, and OK. You guys wouldn't believe how much coughing I'm editing out of this, so just so you know. Alright, let's close that, I can take a look at that file from the desktop. There's my folder. Now, all of the database files, or all of the stuff from National Atlas, and it's a really good practice to always include a text file that includes descriptions of all of the data, and it's essentially metadata, which is data on data. So if I open this one up, it gives you the source, the abstract, but down below it actually will tell you what all the attributes mean. So if I keep going, actually I'll just do a search for FIPS. Close this. So here we go. So there's a label called FIPS, and it's the five-digit identification code. There's also state FIPS in here, but there it is right there. If you ever find yourself wanting to know what some arbitrarily named attribute is, you can usually open this text file and find out what it is. So now that we've got that, let's link it to our file. The first step is actually knowing that it can link, and the key to that with the National Atlas stuff is to look for that FIPS. Once you've got that data, you can right-click over the layer, go to your Open Attributes table, and this is just to kind of do a quick inventory again. Right-click. What you want to do is Joins and Relates. Joins are when you connect to a DBF. Relates are when you connect to another open document. I believe. I could be wrong on that, but I believe that's what it is. So let's go to Join. I will select State FIPS as the field in my data. Whoops, I got to click here, select this one, hit Add, and in the source data, I'll select State FIPS. So this is similar to a process we did with the Avenza software as well. Now, there's going to be a lot more, or potentially a lot more, in the file that we're merging, because it includes county information, than what we want to merge to. So I'll select this option to keep only matching records. All right, let's do OK. If you get this message, just hit yes. And now if I right-click Open Attributes table, you can see I got a bunch more. And again, I just want to warn you against joining data to state outlines. And even if you look back in the text file of this one, so right here, supplemental information, it even recommends that you download the county boundaries if you want to do any kind of information merging. But for this example, this will work fine because we're just going to look at a certain piece. So one problem here is there's lots and lots of information. Ideally, we would only have 49 records, which would represent the 49 states and the District of Columbia. Or, I'm sorry, the 48 states connected and the District of Columbia. But for this example, I want to get rid of things like lake boundaries and the little islands, because for what I want to show, that's a little bit too much information. So for the next part, I'd like to just show you some basic cleanup, or some pretty easy cleanup. Now, there's a few ways to do this. We could go into edit mode and delete, which we'll have to do anyway, I guess. So yeah, let's open that up. Right click on your toolbar, go to editor, hit the drop down and tell it that you want to start editing, and just ignore this warning if you get it. So once you're in edit mode, it's as simple as grabbing your feature select button right here, click and hit delete, and it'll go away. But there's lots of little islands, so that would take quite a while. So what we can do here, we can use a shape in here as a reference file to get rid of a lot of these little ones. So for example, here is Rhode Island. There's probably nothing smaller than Rhode Island, with the exception of District of Columbia right there. But we'll blow that away too for now. So I'll probably get in trouble for saying that. Obama's going to be calling me up. But anyway, for reference, let's grab the information button, or the identity, click on Rhode Island, and we can see that its area's value is 0.272. So to quickly select everything less than that, we can do that from our attributes table, which we've done similar before. So I'll open this up. Let's grab select by attributes, and I will say for, there's quite a lot in here, area less than, and I think it was 0.272, but just to be sure, I'll do a get unique values. Yeah, it was that one right there. So if it's less than 272, select it. You know what? And we might as well say and is not equal to, oops, I'm sorry, let's back up. And state is not equal to, I guess I will save the District of Columbia. So let's see if this works. Oh no, invalid query. Whoops, I think it might be in my not part of that. And state, I'm going to change that to an exclamation point, which is kind of the universal not. It's also in code language referring to bang. So if I ever say bang equal, it means not equal. So lower 48 is less than that, and the lower, that should be an or, shouldn't it? Or lower 48 state is not equal to that. Let's see what happens. Dang. Attempt number 3. I'll go put that not back in there. Invalid query. All right, class, what am I doing wrong? The lower area is less than that, or state. You know what, let's do it this way. Let's say is greater than that, or state is equal to District of Columbia. All right, that got me everything that I want to keep. And if you can get everything that you want to keep, you can simply swap it by doing the button right here, which is switch selection. So it does the opposite of whatever you had selected. Now I can close this, close that. I'm still in my editing mode, so I will hit my delete key. It's thinking, and it gets rid of most everything. The rest of it we can clean up pretty easy. So we've got just a few lake items up here, and I think one over in Washington. All right. Highlight, delete, pan over, highlight, and just got a few more to get rid of here. I think those are the last two. All right, after all of that work, you have to make sure you stop editing, and unless you want to save the edits. Keep in mind this is destroying our raw data that we have saved, so just be aware if you don't want to do that, make a copy beforehand. Now, if I do a right click, open attributes table, hopefully I've only got 49 entries, which would be the 48 contiguous and the District of Columbia. Let's organize these by order admission. I'll do a right click, sort descending, 48, all the way down to District of Columbia. All right. So just to break these videos up, we'll call this our shapefile cleanup and joining video. And in the next one, I'll pick up from here and show you how to categorize or classify the data based off of that census information that we joined.